Right. Hey, Girl Scouts. This is Katie from Cincinnati, Ohio. I apologize for the late start this morning. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Unfortunately happens from time to time. So we are just going to wait for a few more people to get on here. Looks like we've got about 6 of you now. So while we're waiting, I will tell you guys what we're going to do today. So we are talking all about cybersecurity again. So a couple weeks ago, we did the DAISY Cybersecurity Basics badge. And today we are going to be doing the DAISY Cybersecurity Safeguards badge. So while we're waiting for others to join, why don't you tell us in the comments who you are, where you are watching from, and tell me what your favorite color is. So my favorite color is purple. Hi, Donna, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. And we're just going to wait a couple minutes. I see it looks like there's quite a few people hopping on. So tell us what your favorite color is and who you are, and we'll get started real soon. All right. There's always a little bit of a lag with the comments, so I'm just going to wait until I see a couple, and then we will get started. All right, so today like I said, we're talking about cybersecurity again. And you know, cybersecurity is just kind of a weird word. What does it mean? It's just a really big word. So it sounds really big and scary, but it's really not a big word. It just means how people keep information that is important to us safe on our computers and on the internet. Hi, Kyra. Looks like your favorite colors are pink and purple. Awesome. Very good choices. Welcome and thanks for watching today. Looks like we've got a few more people on now, so we can go ahead and get started. So we're earning the Cybersecurity Safeguards badge, which is the second one in the cybersecurity series for DAISY Girl Scouts. And the steps to earning this badge, there are 3 steps. The first step is to find out what makes you unique. And the second step is to find out what information is private. And then the third step is to discover who is in your circle of trust. And for that, we actually have an activity today. All right, so it looks like we've got a few more comments rolling in. Hi, Brooke, welcome. Brooke's favorite color is green. All right, looks like we have someone from Puerto Rico. Awesome. Favorite color is black. Awesome. Well, welcome. And all right, so without further ado, let's get started. So like I said, we talked a couple weeks ago about how we keep things that are important to us safe, just like they do on computers. And if you missed the Cybersecurity Basics badge, you can actually go to our YouTube channel and watch that video, so you can get a head start with that. And we're actually going to do all the steps of this badge today because there's only 3 steps, and that makes it a little easier for us to get through everything today. So we are just going to be talking about what makes us unique and special. All right, so computers allow us to connect with our friends and family from around the world. So as I said, I am talking to you guys from Cincinnati, Ohio, which if you don't know where that is, it is in kind of in the middle of the country. in Ohio. We're right on the border of Kentucky and Indiana. So that's where I'm watching from. You know, sometimes it might seem like the things that we're doing on a computer aren't real because we're watching it through a screen, but it actually is real. I'm a real person talking to you from Cincinnati, and we have people from all over the world and all over our country joining us. Like I said, we've got someone from Puerto Rico. Looks like we've got somebody from Michigan. Welcome. And of course, we've got plenty of people from Western Ohio joining us today. So everything we're doing here today is real. Everything that we do online is real. And that's why it's so important that we learn how to be safe online and we learn how to protect information that's private to us so that not everybody can just find out anything that they want about us. And it really is very similar to how we keep things safe in real life. All right, so let's get started. So with step one, we're going to find out a little bit about what makes you unique. So you already told me your favorite colors. I know one girl said that she had a favorite color is black. Brooke's favorite color is green. My favorite color is purple. Also, some things that make me unique are that I have brown hair and I also have hazel eyes. I bet some of you have brown hair too, but maybe some of you have blonde hair or black hair. Maybe you have blue eyes or green eyes. And those are all things that just make us different from other people. And everyone has things about them that are unique. And it's not just the things that are physical attributes, so not just the way that you look, but also things about your personality are different. And that's what makes us all so unique and special. All right, so in the comments, tell me what your favorite animal is. That is something about your personality that I bet is probably different from some of the other people who are watching today. And while you're doing that, I'm going to tell you guys just a little bit about what makes me special. And then on your own, you can tell your family and your friends what makes you special. So as I said, my name is Katie. I live in Cincinnati, Ohio. I've actually lived in 4 states, California, Oregon, New York, and of course, Ohio. I am 30 years old. I just turned 30 a couple of weeks ago. I have 1 dog and 1 cat. My dog's name is Hugo, and my cat's name is Piroshki. And my favorite food is cheese. So those are just a few things that make me unique and special. All right, Juniper, your favorite animal is zebras. Brooke's favorite animals are dogs and hippos. And Kyra, your favorite animal is an elephant. Those are all great choices. Awesome. Well, I think my favorite animal is a penguin. That's kind of like one of the animals that I've always loved. Oh, and Jamie, it looks like you like all animals. Well, that's a good choice too, because all animals are pretty awesome. All right, so there's a few things when I told you a little bit about myself that I didn't tell you. Things that I didn't tell you are my address. I didn't tell you anything about where I live other than I live in Cincinnati, which is a really big place. So somebody couldn't come to Cincinnati and just find me. I didn't tell you guys exactly where I live because that wouldn't be very safe. I didn't tell you my phone number because I don't want anybody and everyone calling me. Anybody can watch this video. You don't have to be a Girl Scout to watch this video, so I don't want everybody having my phone number. I didn't tell you my birth date. I did tell you that I had a birthday a couple weeks ago, though. And I also didn't tell you my family's names. And these are all things that are considered private information. So things that you don't want anybody and everybody to know. Now, there are some people that you can tell these things, and we're going to find out a little bit more about what people you can tell certain information to. And that's going to be part of our activity today. I did tell you my pets' names, but that's okay because I can still stay safe in real life if you know my pets' names. So that's totally fine. So what is private information? That's another big word that we're learning today. So private information is basically just means that information that shouldn't be shared shared with anybody, except for maybe your parents and yourself, of course. So if you're not sure if something is private information, always rely on your parents and your caregivers. They're going to definitely know whether or not that piece of information that maybe you want to share with somebody can be shared with other people. But all those things I just mentioned, like where you live, your phone number, your family's names, that is all information that you want to keep close to you. And we definitely don't share that in real life, but we also don't share it on the internet because, like I said, anybody and everybody can be watching us online, and we just don't know because we can't always see that person through the screen. So now that you know what information is private, we're going to learn a little bit about how to keep that information safe by finding out who is in our trust circle. So I created just a little activity called the Circle of Trust. And this is something that you guys can follow along with, or you can do it on your own. And this is the final step of the badge. All right. All right, and it looks like Catherine's favorite animal is dogs. Ooh, and Annabelle likes dogs and lions. Lions are pretty cool too. Awesome. All right, so to make a circle of trust, you are going to create 5 different circles, and each one is just going to be a little bit bigger, and it's going to cover the other circles. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, right? So, and I apologize if it's hard to see here. My markers are really thin, fine tip markers, so it was hard to make it really visible. So I put myself in the middle. I drew a nice little picture of myself. You can use a photo, or you can get creative and draw a picture of yourself. And that is the very center of my circle of trust. And then beyond that, in the second circle is my family. So my parents would definitely fall under that, maybe my brother and any siblings that you have. So that is who is in my family. So that, since it's just right beyond my center of my circle of trust, then I can trust them with the most information. Then we draw another circle for friends. So all of your friends at school and at church, maybe your neighbors, things like that, then you can trust them maybe with not as much information as your family, but you can still share some information with them. And then beyond that, for your third circle, your fourth circle is community helpers. So community helpers, if you want to guess what some of those are, there's a lot out there. So I'm going to give you a few examples, but you can put in the comments which ones you think are community helpers. So that could be like your teachers or your police officers, things like that. And then on your fifth circle, is strangers. So these are people that we don't know. So maybe somebody that we pass when we're walking in the park with our families, or maybe somebody that we meet at the library or the store, that kind of thing. So that is how you create your circle of trust. And I just made this one's really basic. You can get really creative and you can draw pictures of who those people are. I drew a picture of myself here, but you can even fill out the rest of those and make those really creative. And you can also put a list of who those people are. So for me, with my family, I would put my mom and my brother. Those are people that are in my immediate family that I trust with the most information. And then you can also maybe play with a game with your family to learn who those people are and where certain people fall on that circle of trust. So I've got a couple little cards here, and you guys can help me figure out who some of these people are and where they fall in that circle of trust. So I see we've gotten a few comments in. So Tina says a lifeguard would be a community helper, and Jamie says police. So those are all great answers, and those definitely fall under community helpers. So those are people who are trained, that have skills, that can help us. So definitely a police officer. So like if you're lost and you need a way to get home, you can definitely trust a police officer to help you. And I've given some of these away already, but if you can tell me, where some of these go on your circle of trust. And so hopefully you guys can see this. All right, so we've got a cashier at the supermarket. Where would we put that on our circle of trust? It's not going to be me. It could be your family. You might have a family member who works for a grocery store, but probably they're going to be somebody that you don't know. So maybe we would put that up to a stranger because we don't know them and we've never met them before. So that's where I would place that. All right. And feel free to jump in and let me know what you guys think in the comments if you have an answer. There's always a little bit of a lag, though, so I apologize if it takes a little bit for me to see that. So the next one we have is a teacher. Oh, yes, Jamie, good job. Stranger. So the next one is our teacher. So where would the teacher fall under? I'll let you guys guess that one, and we'll move on to the next one while we wait for you guys to guess. All right. What about your Girl Scout leader? Where does your Girl Scout leader fall under? That's another one too. So if you guys want to take a second to guess, I will just wait where they would fall under. So would they be part of your family, friends, community helpers, or strangers? Your Girl Scout leader or your teacher? All right, so looks like we've got a couple of answers that say community helpers. Yes, those are all community helpers. Awesome. So like I said, anybody that you don't know is a stranger, but somebody that you do know that like your teachers, your Girl Scout leader, police officers, lifeguards, all of those people are community helpers. But you don't want to necessarily tell them everything about your life. So definitely have a conversation with your caregiver or your parent about who is in that circle of trust and what types of information you can tell those people and what's important for people to know. And really, this is just the same as how we keep information safe online. It's so important that we know what information is okay to be shared with different types of people. And really, that's how online safety works, and that's how cybersecurity works. So like I said, with computers, while it may not seem real, we are all real people communicating with each other through the internet. And so it's important to make sure that that circle of trust not only applies to you in your real life, but it also applies to those that you meet on the internet or those that you communicate with. So for example, I haven't met many of you in person, but we're all Girl Scout sisters, which is why we're communicating today. And I have the pleasure of being able to talk to you about this cybersecurity badge. But again, we don't all have to share certain information that is private. Like I said, I didn't tell you my address or my phone number, things like that. So really, that is the badge. And you all have earned your Cybersecurity Safeguards badge today. So congratulations, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch with me today. So if you are not a Girl Scout and you've been enjoying our live videos, you can go to girlscouts.org/join to learn more about becoming a member and being placed in your community. And then also, we have another live video coming up at 2 p.m. It's another cybersecurity badge, but this one's for brownies. And Lissa will be going over the cybersecurity basics badge. And then this evening, we also have a special opportunity where Girl Scouts USA is celebrating National Astronauts Day with a very special virtual event at 6:15 p.m. where you you can actually talk to a former female astronaut and learn all about her career and her life. Definitely join us for that. And thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and peace out, Girl Scouts.